In the winter of 1881, a grim discovery beneath a saloon in Leadville, Colorado, sent a wave of horror through the Rocky Mountain mining communities. Under the floorboards of the McKenna Sisters saloon, investigators uncovered 23 bundles of women's clothing, each meticulously folded and stored. Each bundle was accompanied by a chilling, handwritten note listing a name, age, physical description, and a price, cataloging the women with the cold detachment of a livestock ledger. The personal nature of the items made the find even more disturbing: a dress that still carried the scent of lavender soap, a pair of carefully mended boots suggesting both poverty and pride, and a silver locket holding the picture of an elderly woman. Unsent letters were also found, filled with hopeful promises to families back east about building new lives in the West. The proprietors, Sisters Catherine and Margaret McKenna, had vanished 3 days prior to the raid, leaving behind these silent witnesses to their crimes. The investigation that followed unraveled a vast and methodically organized human trafficking network that extended from the Colorado mining camps to the brothels of San Francisco. It revealed that the sisters, who had been viewed as respectable, charitable business owners, were in fact the architects of a brutal operation that preyed on vulnerable women. The setting: Leadville, Colorado, 1881. Leadville was a classic boomtown, intoxicated by the promise of silver and gold. Perched over 10,000 feet high in the Rockies, its population had exploded to nearly 30,000 in just 3 years. It was a chaotic, violent place where fortunes were made and lost overnight. The streets were a mix of mud and snow, lined with saloons, gambling halls, and opera houses that catered to every human desire. This environment attracted a diverse population of miners, businessmen, con artists, families, and desperate souls seeking prosperity, including many single women looking for work. The McKenna sisters, a carefully constructed facade. Catherine and Margaret McKenna arrived in Leadville in 1879 from Boston. Catherine, the elder, was tall, striking, and possessed a charismatic, calculating intelligence. She had a remarkable memory for personal details, making customers feel uniquely seen and valued. Margaret, quieter and more reserved, projected a maternal, soothing presence and handled the practical business and financial matters. They established the McKenna Sisters Saloon on the main thoroughfare, a well-built, respectable-looking establishment. They cultivated a reputation as benefactors to vulnerable women, offering temporary lodging and help finding employment to those new to the frontier. They presented themselves as a civilizing influence, earning praise from local churches and newspapers for their charitable work. The second floor was said to house respectable working girls, further cementing their image as guardians of virtue. The first cracks: a letter from the shadows. The first break in the case came from a desperate letter to Leadville's Marshal, William Dugan, from a young woman named Emma Kowalski in San Francisco. She detailed how she and her sister Anna, orphaned and destitute, had come to Leadville and been welcomed by the McKenna sisters. After a week of kind treatment, they were drugged during a meal. Emma awoke in a wagon, bound and being transported by a trafficker who casually discussed them as purchased merchandise. Emma had eventually escaped from a Barbary Coast brothel and was pleading for the marshal to find her still missing sister and stop the McKennas. The investigation begins. Though he knew the sisters personally, Marshal Dugan found Emma's letter too detailed and credible to ignore. His quiet investigation revealed a pattern: over a dozen reports of missing women, all of whom were alone and desperate, and all last seen near the McKenna saloon after discussing employment opportunities. Local business owners shared unsettling observations, like never seeing these women leave and the sisters' oddly timed explanations for their departures. Medical corroboration. Dr. Helena Morrison, one of the few female physicians in Colorado, provided crucial medical evidence. She had treated several young women from the McKenna saloon showing clear symptoms of laudanum poisoning, dilation, confusion, and memory loss. Their stories were eerily similar: special dinners with the sisters, unexplained drowsiness, and waking up disoriented with belongings missing. One patient, Rebecca Tanner, even had bruises from restraints and recalled briefly escaping from a transport wagon. The return of a victim. The investigation's most significant breakthrough came with the unexpected return of Anna Kowalski, Emma's sister. After enduring months of captivity, she had escaped during a police raid in San Francisco and made a harrowing journey back to Leadville seeking justice. Her testimony provided granular details: the transportation routes to California, the names and descriptions of handlers, the methods of psychological control used in the brothels, and, most importantly, the fact that the sisters kept meticulous business records and trophies from their victims in a locked cabinet. Anna's return created a crisis. She was determined to confront the sisters publicly, while Marshal Dugan feared for her safety and wanted to build an airtight legal case. The confrontation and aftermath. Tension mounted as the sisters grew visibly nervous. The situation culminated one night when Anna, armed with evidence and a pistol, confronted the sisters in their saloon. She publicly detailed their crimes with cold fury. Instead of denying it, Catherine McKenna chillingly justified their actions as simple, profitable business. The confrontation erupted into a violent gunfight with the sisters' armed associates. Margaret McKenna was killed, and Anna was seriously wounded. In the chaos, Catherine McKenna escaped through a pre-planned route and vanished, never to be found despite a massive manhunt. The subsequent search of the saloon uncovered the horrific evidence: the 23 bundles of clothing, detailed financial records showing they had trafficked at least 47 women for enormous profit, correspondence with a vast criminal network, and, most disturbingly, trophy photographs of their unconscious victims taken by Margaret. The legacy. The case sent shockwaves through the West, exposing a sophisticated multi-state trafficking ring that preyed on the vulnerable. It led to numerous other arrests and new federal laws against trafficking. Anna Kowalski became an early advocate for victims' rights. Dr. Morrison's medical documentation proved invaluable in court. Marshal Dugan spent years hunting other traffickers. The story stands as a dark lesson on how evil can hide behind a mask of respectability and charity, exploiting trust and desperation in the pursuit of profit.